episode of Unravel by UniHawk. I'm Shivani, the Director of Admissions, and today I'm joined by a very interesting candidate, Aryaman Banerjee.
Hi, my name is Aryaman Banerjee and I am a student at the GRE Millennium School Al Khail in Dubai, and I'm currently studying in grade 11.
A lot of students that actually finish high school wonder what they want to study at later years. You said that you were very keen on a particular subject. You want to share with our audience what it is today?
Yes, so I'm very keen on automotive engineering as a subject. Now, many people think that this field is just about making cars and other kinds of machinery that help you move yourself around in the modern world today, but it's a much wider field. Automotive engineering is a field which has many different departments in it. You can pursue design, you can pursue mechanics, you can pursue various other kinds of things in it, and the amount of financing that you can get through such a career is vast. So I got the passion for automotive engineering when I was, I think, around a bit younger, around 5-6 years ago, when I saw cars. I just became fascinated how such kind of things can go up to 120 kilometers per hour. How can they move so fast? I thought it was just a simple clogging of machines that were arranged together and they ran together, but it was way more complex when my grandfather started explaining me on how cars actually work. So I became so interested in such kind of a machine that can pursue such a task. So I thought that why don't I pursue a career in such kind of a field where they make such kind of machines? That's where I get my interest.
Now, automotive engineering is actually a specialized area of mechanical engineering, and mechanical engineering traditionally was the program that most students who aspired to do engineering, they would be more prone to do a mechanical. Then you had popularity with electrical, computer sciences, civil, a whole lot of different routes into engineering. Let's say that the UK, of course, has evolved and it has now universities offering automobile engineering directly at an undergraduate level, not for students to complete mechanical and then pursue it at a specialized master's level. Would you as a candidate want to explore mechanical prior, or would you like to dive into automobile directly?
Now, mechanical engineering is a field of engineering that covers a very broad aspect of machines. It covers many different kinds of mechanics, many different kinds of functions, many different kinds of machinery, of course. But my interest is particularly in automobiles. Now, to pursue a field in mechanical engineering for 4 years and then move on to a master's in automotive engineering seems like a good option. But I want my full focus to be in the automotive engineering sector, as that is my passion and I'm really interested in such a field.
No, rightly said, the industry of automotives is huge in the UK. In fact, some of the most renowned companies are, they began in the UK itself. And it's really nice to see how these organizations have helped with the learning by placing themselves as experts in the industry to come into universities and conduct workshops and webinars and series of, helping students understand firsthand what it is to work in this industry. A lot of organizations have actually provided universities with even opportunities for putting themselves out there for the internships that students may be seeking during summer or during their placement year. And I think that the industry has evolved quite a bit as well. If you look at it today, a lot of the manufacturing takes place somewhere else, a lot of designing takes place elsewhere. But at the end of the day, all of it comes together to create that one beautiful masterpiece that people want to possess. So let me tell you a little bit about how the UK admissions process works. When you're applying to universities, you have a limit of 5 options because you have to apply through a common application form called the UCAS. The UCAS, when it tells you that you can only apply to 5, it's very important for students to research, understand not just the way the universities are offering the program, but also the reputation and the kind of industries that they are linked with. Now, have you done any kind of research, or do you know which kind of universities offer these programs at university?
Now, I did conduct a bit of research on this particular topic on work placements as well as internships provided by certain universities in the UK. I can give an example of a university called the University of Hertfordshire. It's in the UK and it provides work placements to its graduates in companies such as Bentley and Rolls-Royce and Tram Motorcycles, which are very established companies. Now, for a particular person who is pursuing a graduate or an undergraduate degree in such a field, it is a very win-win situation for them as they can pursue this field of a career in a very established company and they can build their base on such, they can start building their base on such a nice kind of a work placement that's at a good company.
Yeah, I think the exposure that they have studying in a UK university where they're connected with industry experts and they have opportunities to place themselves there is really something that students need to look at. In fact, some of the advantages of studying in the UK include that they have a shorter degree. Their bachelor's of engineering only lasts 3 years, whereas if you look at other destinations and countries, the degree programs can be 4 or maybe even 5 years. The UK actually has another advantage whereby even their master's programs are only of 1 year duration. So definitely the UK becomes a very popular destination for international students, and I'm glad that you're looking at this for one of your places to study when you finish high school. Now, the UK also offers a lot of student experiences, personal life-work balance kind of experiences. What does that mean? It means that when you have students who've applied to these universities, although they are interested in the academics, they may have interests like outside. And so a lot of universities offer clubs, societies for students to, partake and participate and, build a student community through these different clubs and societies. Have you heard of any of them? Or would you actually look at maybe initiating or building one for the university?
So most of the universities that have automotive engineering as a course within them, they usually have this one common club, particularly in the UK, which actually is responsible for making and designing a car which can race in a Formula One competition. They make these kind of aerodynamic efficient cars, and they also make a competition for it called the Student Formula. It's called Student Formula SAE competition, where they make these kind of Formula One oriented cars and they race it. So it basically involves a group of around 7 to 8 specialized students who work together on achieving the goal of making a perfectly aerodynamically efficient car that can actually beat other cars made by other university students so that they can get a particular prize they want to. And
that's wonderful actually, to have cross competition to basically at the end of the day get a better product at the end. That's great. Tell me something, Aryaman. When you started your journey with where you wanted to study, I mean, of course, automobile was something that you wanted to get into later. UK was one option. In comparison, would you have you considered other universities across the globe, other destinations?
I have considered other universities across Europe, especially in the Netherlands, as the Netherlands does offer its courses in English. It provides proper 4-year degrees in Bachelor's of Engineering in Automotive Technology or Engineering. And after that, you can get work placements in very good companies across Europe. Not only the Netherlands, you can get work placements in companies such as BMW or other major European brands. So your other universities in the Europe that do not include the UK can be a very good option for pursuing such a career, as they currently provide courses in English where you don't have to have a particular language proficiency to get into the university and pursue that course. And you can expose yourself to an environment where people do know a lot about automotives and can give you a lot of, let's say, experience in such a field.
Yes, true. There's a lot of different countries that offer this as a program in their universities and as job opportunities. But I think one thing the UK has an advantage with is the fact that it is an English-speaking country and its degree duration, which is shorter, gives definitely students more advantages in terms of investment because they pay less for their studying and living, and they get into the workplace quicker. So I think in comparison, we would say that yes, look at the UK for sure, and if you look at the other destinations, make sure that you keep in mind all the different costs involved, all the different experiences that you will have. Even the language can pose as a barrier because let's say you complete your degree, but you get into industry where you need to communicate in Dutch. That might fall as a hindrance to your growth in the company. But of course, if you are in an English-speaking country, you may not face that challenge. Tell me something. Let's say you went to university, and during the summer you were offered an internship with two organizations, really big car companies. One was maybe based out of the UK, and one was based in Dubai. Now, based on what factors would you choose the internship? Would you choose it based on the company or the brand? Would you choose it based on the role? Or would you choose it based on the location?
I would initially choose it based on the company because location wouldn't usually change my decision, even though they might have very different weather conditions. One might have a very hot climate condition, the other might be very pleasant. But if you want to pursue a very good career in the future and you're offered an internship, for example, to Bentley in the UK, and for example, a comparatively smaller company in Dubai, or quite the opposite actually, Bentley in Dubai and a smaller company in the UK.
In the UK, then you would definitely consider the brand or the reputation of the organization.
Yeah, because...
And rightly said, I would advise the same, to be honest. I think it's very important for us to be exposed to definitely exposed to different varieties of opportunities that we can get, but we should grab the ones that will sort of make a mark or boost our profiles for the future. Okay, Aryaman, let me ask you another question and let's see how you respond to it. Let's say that your cohort, the students that you're studying with at university, let's say you all graduated, but most of you were finding it very difficult to find work after you graduated. What do you think you would do maybe as collectively to help each other?
So collectively, I think we would, rather than trying to go from here, rather than going here and there from each company trying to conduct internships, we would do a collective research on what companies actually provide good benefits to their employees, as well as how the employment requirements are for those companies. We would see how established the company is and we would start researching on that rather than directly taking action and going to companies after that, because that might make it tougher, because you might feel tired, you may feel that, oh no, a company is not hiring me, I don't want to pursue a career in this field.
Maybe let me rephrase. What I was trying to ask was, say the job market is not very, not very good, and it's very difficult to find full-time work maybe after you graduate. Let's see, there's a bunch of you in your cohort, in your year, that did not get confirmed placements after you graduated. What would you do collectively? Maybe individually you would update your CVs and reach out for interviews. But as a collective, as a group, what do you think you can do that would work to your advantage?
For example, in a group of 5 friends, for example, me and one more of my friends are employed in a very good company. The other 3 who have just graduated could not find employment in other companies because probably they did not choose a very good season for employment. So what I would do is I would start giving out the CVs or reaching out to my company in order to employ them. For example, I would give them particular information. I would try arranging interviews for them in the particular company I am, so that they can, even if they don't get a job in a very high position, at least they can
have a starting point.
Yes,
yeah.
It's
good to hear your perspective. So usually when I have a lot of opportunities to talk to students through their admissions process and help them and guide them with how to get into the top universities. I also give them a little bit of information on how they can ensure that they are not left high and dry at the end of the program. In the first year, for every university, they have a lot of career visits. They have a lot of career days and a lot of a lot of companies that visit campuses. And a lot of first year students decide, no, it's too early for me. I don't need to be a part of this. I can go and visit this campus placement next year, or I can talk to these companies next year. I don't have to do it in the first year. But the secret is students need to start actually building their network from this first year itself.
I agree.
So going and meeting different companies that come on campus, talking to them, chatting with them about what are the roles that are offered, what are the challenges of the industry, what can they contribute, how can they contribute to work for them, short internships, or even come and visit them, during peak periods, just to see how they tackle with different aspects of the, transactions happening. Students should become aware from year one, so that by the time they've reached the end of the degree, they're not just well versed, but they are well informed, and they won't come across this challenge where they don't have at least one or two offers in hand. But this is something I like to share with the students, just before they are bound to go, because it's important for them to be prepared for the next step as well, after they finish.
Yes.
The UK actually has a lot of different routes through which you can study and work. They give students the opportunities to work up to 20 hours per week during the term time. And off-term time, which is during the Christmas break, Easter break, and summer holidays, students can work up to 40 hours per week, which is full-time. And that gives them a lot of opportunities to gain first-hand experience and skills, build skills in that industry too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do have a question actually. In the UK, rather than the weather conditions, can the living cost be an influencing factor for the student to choose a particular university?
Absolutely. The London-based universities tend to be more expensive, not just in terms of the fact that you have higher rents, but even the other costs of living are elevated. If you look at the smaller towns or the outskirts of major cities where the universities are, have campuses, they tend to be lower rental. They tend to have lower utilities and things like that. So definitely the living expenses can be a factor for students to choose a particular university as well.
Interesting. And particular universities in the UK, or most universities in the UK, would you say that they are comparatively tougher to get into than other universities in or across Europe?
Well, I have to say that the education system in the UK is definitely high academic. They have very high academic excellence. UK universities feature in several rankings, especially QS ranking in the top 50 most of the time. And you have some of the universities that are in the top 5 globally: Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, LSE. So you do have some of the universities that rank quite high. Having said that, the competition, of course, varies. If you have the universities that rank consistently very high, the competition over there is much higher. But having said that, you don't have opportunities, you don't have universities that don't give you opportunities with them. So it really depends on your caliber academically and what you're looking to gain from the degree. You go to a university to take in everything, not just the degree, but every experience that you're exposed to, every interaction you have. You have professors from very high-ranked universities that even visit the mid-rank universities. So you should definitely take opportunities to attend seminars conducted by them, because you can always use that and use the learning from that, and you can talk about your experience with that particular professor who may be an expert in the field as well.
So can you say that universities in the UK can be considered slightly superior to other universities across Europe, for example, Netherlands?
Well, I think that if you compare universities across, they do have, one aspect of ranking where they take into consideration a lot of factors. They take into consideration what are the offerings student satisfaction, faculty, development, infrastructure, program, alumni. There's so many different things that gather points to make them at a rank of what they are. When you look at the ranking, you can do comparisons, but everything has its pros and cons, like I said. So a university in Netherlands, which may be very, very high ranked for an economics program, may not be, you cannot compare it to maybe another university in the UK that has a different program that it is well known for. That is something to consider. So I, as a counselor, usually do comparisons in terms of looking at duration of the programs, what are the long-term benefits, what is the reputation of the university, what is the reputation of the program at the university, what are the opportunities, how do students benefit. And every individual has its own, it's their own mindset. They have their own plans, their own dreams, they have their own goals. And based on the goals, we find out which are the right universities and where they would be the right fit.
Interesting. So now if a student, for example, wanted to pursue a career in automotive engineering, there were two university options that you found for the student. For example, you found one university in Germany, for example, and another university in, for example, Italy. Now, both of them require a particular language proficiency, and both the languages are comparatively in terms of toughness, they are similar. In terms of vocabulary, they're completely different. But if you had to suggest a university either from Italy or from Germany for a particular student, which one would you suggest exactly, according to living costs and other things?
Well, I would actually look at a lot more than the living costs. German manufacturing, German automobile industry, of course, world-renowned brands. But the Italians are no less. They do have a strong manufacturing, but they also are very high aesthetically, in aesthetic value, because their designs cannot be compared anywhere, right?
Yes.
So I would actually look at, for example, not just the university, but also the industry tie-up. I would look at the fact that a German standard of living might be higher than an Italian standard of living. You look at, for example, Germany as a stay-back option for students. Can they stay back after they complete their degree, and for how long? In Italy, is that possible? And if yes, what are the challenges that they may face to extend their visas? So there's so many different factors apart from living cost, duration of the program, industry tie-ups that I would compare. But doing this cross comparison is where the student will get a better understanding of which university they might be more inclined towards. So, Aryaman, do you want to know anything else about the UK admissions process?
Yes, I do. Actually, I'm going to move to another country. For example, if you take the US, universities in the US require you to write a college essay or a particular writing statement for you or for the university.
Yeah. No, but US universities have requirements to write the essay and supplemental essays. But it is, for the UK, it's actually less complex. You have just one personal statement that goes into the UCAS. And in the personal statement, you express your motivations to study that program. You can also share in that personal statement different aspects about your academics and non-academic involvement. You can talk about internships that you may have been part of, or anything you've done that will help you prepare for this university degree. So it's quite straightforward, and it's actually less complex than a college essay, I would say.
So it's more like displaying your profile in terms of
Exactly,
writing.
that's it, yeah. You express your motivations to do the program and how you have prepared yourself to be ready for it at university.
Also, do UK universities provide good scholarships to get
Yes, actually. All the universities have scholarships. Scholarships can be awarded in two ways. Either you are directly, you are awarded the scholarship directly with your offer letter, which is a conditional offer letter, but nevertheless, the scholarship is mentioned there. Or you have to separately apply for it. And these separate applications usually become, usually the deadlines to apply for them are much later, and you do have time to prepare for it. But you do have to get a conditional offer before you can apply for the scholarship at these universities.
So getting such a good scholarship from a good university in the UK, is it tough? Based, for example, you're a student who has good merit in your previous school or previous academics that you pursued. Will it be hard for you to get a scholarship in a good UK university?
No, in fact, scholarships are mostly merit based. So if you are a good student academically and you can demonstrate how this scholarship is going to support you in terms of, financially support you through your studies to achieve your goals, then the university is happy to award you this amount. Yes.
Interesting. So scholarships can be influencing factor for a student.
Absolutely. And in fact, some universities may have multiple scholarships that you are eligible for. Most of the time, they give you the highest award. They may not combine the different scholarships, but you can definitely apply for university and external scholarships as well.
Interesting. What are the required tests that you have to give to get into a university in the UK, or are there any required tests?
Yes, as an international student and a non-native English speaker, you are required to take an English proficiency test. Apart from that, every university may or may not have an additional test requirement. For example, if you apply to an Oxford or a Cambridge, they have their own internal tests that they require students to take. But most of the universities in the UK don't have any requirement for a standardized test at all.
Interesting. So, for example, if I was a grade 9 student, I came to you telling that what is the best time for me to start looking at my target universities and start drafting up my profile and start, of course, you can
building yourself towards the university admissions.
Yes.
I would say that a candidate should start well in advance, but again, that's a very relative answer. No later than 1 year prior to the intake, and you can certainly start at grade 9 onwards. And how does this work? You look at the various subjects that you're taking at high school. You look at what are the strengths that you have in those subjects, and you tend to choose university courses or degrees that align with those subjects or those strengths. Yeah, but you do have a lot of opportunities during summer, during winter, where you can engage yourself in an internship or complete an online course, or you can do any kind of skill building, and this all enhances your profile. This enhances your knowledge also of the field. There are ways where you can conduct yourself as a mentor for others. You could be tutoring younger cohorts on subjects that that strengthen your concepts in the bargain. So there are lots of different things that you can get involved in, and it is encouraged. Ideally, you would like to submit your application 1 year prior. Preparation can start any time after grade 9, because usually your high school subjects, high school activities are what is accounted for in the UK admissions process.
So as a grade 11 student, I have one final question. Right, like I am a CBSE student, so right after I finish my grade 12 board exams, do I directly start applying to universities right after I finish?
No, you actually start applying now, so that by the time you finish the grade 12, you have your offer, which was conditional and is unconditional based on your results of your grade 12.
So don't you have to basically have a particular, for example, you have to pass out from grade 12 with a particular percentage to
When you apply to universities, you apply on the predicted scores of your grade 12. And when you achieve those grade 12 scores, your unconditional offers are released by the university.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It was so nice chatting with you, Aryaman. We hope you liked this episode.
And if you like this episode, be sure to like, share and subscribe, and follow this page for more content. Thank you.